We've got a segment we call Politicking While Living in America or Politicking While Being Black in America. And that's where we air our petty grievances that sometimes can be about MAGA, or it can be something simple as you're walking in the airport and the little kid behind you keeps kicking your ankle because you're walking too slow. Whatever it is, we want to hear it. You get first dibs at that today. Mike, what are you politicking on?
Oh my gosh, man. The massive undertaking that is getting people in MAGA to oversee MAGA. How are you in this position where you are just so completely on this one person? On this one person completely. We didn't start seeing identity politics like this since Richard Nixon was in office, then turned to Reagan. And now we're in this problem now where we're connecting a specific person to the entire party. We're connecting Bernie Sanders to the left. We're committing Joe Biden to being the entire Democratic Party, Kamala Harris to the entire Democratic Party. We need to stop doing that. We need to go back to a time where the Democratic Party as a whole and the Republican Party as a whole is the collective group. We're not talking about just one person. We're not talking about Mitt Romney, John McCain, Donald Trump. We're talking about this is what our party stands for. This is what we're going to do for the American people. This is what we're going to do to get this job done. That's the pitch there.
Mike,
That's a good one.
In Trump's first term, I remember, and I was in high school then, so
yeah, I was in college, so
I was taking notes, I was learning, but I remember so distinctly being frustrated once he was elected, and he still used us and them language, and he does it now regarding Americans. I was like, I understood it during campaigning, trying to really rally your side, but once he got into office and his tweets were still the crooked Democrats and we are going to prevail. When he was saying we, I could tell he didn't mean me. He didn't mean everyone. And that frustrated the shit out of me because I was still a high schooler. I didn't know much about politics, but I was like, I'm pretty sure you represent the furthest left person and the furthest right person as the president. So you don't get to pick and choose. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm with you, but the problem comes back to one critical error. Even if individuals within a party don't believe in all the same things, everybody has to coalesce if you want to have power in this country under one of the two parties.
Yep.
Either way. And so what happens is you might have some Republicans who, at their core, every Republican is not racist. It just so happens that most racists vote Republican.
Yeah.
And you have to make a decision under what umbrella you want to be painted under. It's not right. It's not fair, but it's the reality. And I think that the only way you can break quote unquote identity politics is either the policies that are put forth have to be subsequent of representing everyone, or there's going to have to be some more viable parties that are a legit threat to winning power.
Yeah. And to follow up on that, you make a really good point about how, racism even overcomes these boundaries, because back before Cory Booker had his 25-hour stand on the Senate floor, that record was held by Strom Thurmond, who, as most people had pointed out, Strom Thurmond was a Democrat, but Strom Thurmond was also a racist. It existed in both parties. Racist can be in any party. That one is not a partisan issue. But being a decent human being has become such a partisan issue because of that. And it's so crazy to me that even days like today, that is still the case. And, that's a whole other issue to also think about, is that there is this huge problem with us versus them, as Claire pointed out, that we're trying to create such a problem of, and I don't know if you've seen this before, but let me paint the picture for you, is the corporate suit guy sitting in the middle. There is like a Latino brown immigrant on this side of the table with no cookies on his plate. The working American, working white guy that has one cookie on his plate, and the corporate suit's got a mound of cookies on his plate. And he's trying to say that foreigner is trying to steal your cookie. Buddy, you have all the cookies. What are we doing here? Like, it's all distraction. It's all a distraction to keep us from coming together, because they do not want us to know that we outnumber them, that we can take the power back, that we the people hold the power.
Exactly. And the more we look left and right, the less we're looking up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So Claire, what's got you politicking under MAGA control today?
Pivot. It's gonna be a little sillier. We're gonna dip into my personal life a little bit here. I am over dating under MAGA.
Oh.
Let me the amount. So, and Lamont and I get into this a lot because obviously we are of different genders. We both have talked about how, for whatever reason, right now it's the right is targeting masculinity. And is trying to brand masculinity as a right or conservative thing. Therefore, a lot of guys who maybe 10, 20 years ago would have been moderate, or they would have been a rhino Republican, which Lamont and I like to talk about, not your MAGA, but your like Reagan Republican. They might have been a little bit left. Now there's that echo chamber of, if you get started on just wanting to get into lifting, or you get started on like anything that could be masculine adjacent, your algorithm is within a day or two going to suck you into Andrew Tate, into Joe Rogan, into like this manosphere. And so what I'm seeing is a lot of guys who are educated, who should get it, who should have more empathy, and yet identity politics are causing them to start calling women females, to start calling women run through, and, oh, women these days aren't loyal, and these females can't be trusted, and basically painting women in a way that's not good. But then also it's insult culture as well. They want to have relationships, but they want to blame women for why they don't have them.
Yeah.
And so the roundabout logic is just that women like me, who are very outspoken about this stuff, who are not willing to overlook things like basic empathy and connection, and also giving a shit about people, it just means I'm kind of lonely right now.
Yeah.
So all that to say, there's plenty of fish in the sea, but I just hope that the left and progressives, however you want to put it, Democrats, we can figure out a way to make a space for young boys and men who still want to identify with your traditional masculine roles or identity, without it suddenly becoming a hateful, aggressive, almost violent mindset that comes with masculinity that I think a lot of people are trying to push, like Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
So that's my complaint. But hopefully the work we're doing is going to ameliorate that a little bit and fix some things. So
look at, I'm gonna give the first word to you on what she said, Mike, and look at her using those big words, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna tell you what ameliorate means. I'm gonna make you look it up. But look at her education, Claire. You are threatening men who are not confident in themselves by using such language. Ameliorate. It's kind of like a cuss word. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh goodness, man. Like I heard ameliorate, and I was like, okay, we're bringing out the big stops here. I love it. I was like, where's my dictionary? Hold on. Good job.
There's more where that came from.
I love it. And I'm sure that if I get elected, all these senators on the floor are going to be starting to throw larger words at me. It's like, oh, you just learned that one today too, didn't you? Okay. I see how it goes.
Right.
But like I have a follow-up on the point that you made as well, is that, you know, I was at work a couple days ago, and I mean, I work a lot anyway. One of our regulars came in, and a conversation came up about like, oh, is it gay for a man to wear a bracelet? And I was like, dude, we have bigger problems in the world. Wear what you want. It doesn't matter. Like that is not my first thought. It is not my concern when I look at another man and he's wearing a bracelet. My first thought probably is, oh, that's a cool bracelet.
Right.
That's like a bracelet with charms and whatnot. Is like, dude, I've seen men wear funnier stuff than that. Like red hats to me are way funnier than than wearing a bracelet.
Goofy as hell.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, words written all the way across on this big bill hat. Like, I'm surprised political cartoonists haven't been making like Doug Dimmadome style red hat cartoons, which is writing all the way down. Like that. If I was a political cartoonist, that's where my bread and butter would be, is just making fun of that.
The hat
But yeah, I agree on the masculinity part, is that, you know, men need to be a little bit more comfortable with, you know, themselves, about their ability to express themselves like that.
And in fact, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but as a woman, nothing is more attractive to me than a man who is wearing a bracelet, wearing pink, playing with his daughter, going to her dance recitals, doing things that insecure men would say, I don't want to look gay.
Mm-hmm.
When a man does that, that to me is way more attractive, because it tells me that you're not afraid of being labeled a certain way, because your masculinity is already so secure that wearing a dress wouldn't make you not masculine. Wearing pink, wearing a bracelet, having long hair wouldn't make you not masculine, because you already know that masculinity is what you define it. And it's something you've already processed. So if anything, it's attractive. And men, take notes. Lean into your femininity, because if you are a masculine man, it won't make you any less masculine. It'll make you more attractive.
Retweet.
Yeah. My point to Claire is, for me, Mike already hit on what I would have said, and I'm going to say again, I need to find a way, and we need to, as a society, find a way to teach not just men, but women too, at an early age. Be confident in who you are and whatever it is that you like, regardless of these past stereotypings of what should be a man and what should be a woman, because those things have evolved over the course of time. Okay. And when you deal with these MAGA men, they want to take things back to a patriarchy. We're not living in a patriarchy time.
And a rigid patriarchy at that, a very rigid patriarchy.
Mm-hmm. Very rigid patriarchy, and we're not living in those times. And so, as Claire said, masculinity or femininity is defined to the subjects and the subjects involved in said relationship, should you decide to be with someone. And so my take home to any man who's listening to this, your masculinity is what you want it to be. If you want to wear a pink shirt, be confident in your pink shirt. If you don't want to wear name brand clothes, be confident in not wearing name brand clothes. Find confidence in something that is you. And if other people define it as something different, that's their fault. The right women will see that and know that you're confident in yourself. And even if you look like fucking Flavor Flav or Andrew Tate, they will still find you attractive because you have confidence in self.
Confidence is so hot. It's the hottest thing you can have. So, yes.
The Flavor Flav got me. It got me.
Mike, it's my job to get you guys to laugh at least 3 times. So I done got you twice already. So
I'm a really entertained person. You got me.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings it to my politicking of the day. And it kind of ties into what Mike said already, which is, and Claire a little bit, but it's different. How do we get through to people who are so hooked into MAGA that, number one, they don't research to make sure something is true, and when you do show it to them, they still don't believe it? And let me give you an example. So me and Claire made a video a couple of days ago, and we got a comment. Here's the comment. And what we were talking about was Trump's parade and how he was unhappy and how taxpayers paid for this. So listen to what this guy says. He says, not even true, because taxpayer money wasn't used for the parade. It was a big corporations that donated the cash for the celebration, and other countries has done this all over. Nice try, though, and weak argument. I can't make this stuff up. Okay, so Mike, I replied. Of course, I replied with the facts. Here are the facts. And embedded in these facts is where I got my facts from. I replied, and I'm going to have to sit up to look at this. Where is your verified source of what you said? That is exactly how they are able to trick MAGA. When will you learn to fact check? Even if you did, would you change your mind? Here are the facts listed below. Who paid for it? U.S. taxpayer, federal funds. The majority of the funding came from the Department of Defense and federal agencies, including National Park Service. National Park diverted $2.5 million from park entrance fees originally intended for park maintenance and operation. Number 2, Department of Defense provided tanks, military, foyers, and active duty personnel, all of which added to the cost of some estimates placed DoD related expenses in the $10 to $13 million. I didn't hear back from that guy. Now, hopefully he heard that and it made him think or made him go research, but most likely it didn't. And so what I'm politicking on is MAGA is so entrenched in whatever those fundamental beliefs they have about republicanism, MAGAism, whether it's hate, whether it's cruelty, whether it's fake ass religion, whether it's just Trump and loving his type of criminal activity. It is very hard to get them to break it, and that gets on my nerves, but it always encourages me to continue to fact check and show them the truth, whether they believe it or might. Floor is yours, Mike.
This one really got me because, like, of course, they would so easily believe that the corporate sponsors, they paid for all of it. Absolutely not. No. They probably paid for like a lot of the festivals. They probably paid for like a booth or a table or something like that. But this is way deeper. This is completely and way deeper, and it. And that I had just learned that the National Park Service lost money because of this parade. I thought it was just all
funded by Doge.
And that's a whole other thing. Is like I can already see the dominoes falling with the National Park Service, and that hurts me a lot because nature, our environment, everything like that. Call me a tree hugger if you want. Protect federal wildlife land. That's my big thing. But even so, this stupid argument that I'm just going to call it stupid. It's already left my mouth. Regardless of what happens, any federal military parade is going to involve taxpayer funds. There is no ifs, ands, and about that. And it would behoove me to suggest otherwise. That is something that I would even have to call out if I was in a committee hearing and saying that, why are we spending tens of millions of dollars on a parade that's supposed to be for the U.S. Army, which is what our lovely commander-in-chief has said. It's for the U.S. Army. It's not for me. That just happens to be on my birthday. It just happens to be on my birthday. Goodness gracious, man. That's a whole other thing, is like the deflection that Trump does when one thing is occurring and then he says it's for something else.
Because it's convenient.
It's convenient. It's absolutely convenient to say, oh, this parade is for the Army. It's not for my birthday. But, when there was a whole clip that even got leaked of Trump saying and praising how he wanted to replicate what Kim Jong-un is doing in North Korea, of having this military work for him and he having the nation of people worship him at these parades. And I usually hate using the word delicious as this adjective in this situation, but it was so delicious to see that picture of Trump just sitting there during the parade, just like, just sad and whatnot. And I was like, if it was his original intended plan for that parade to be about him, I would hope that was his genuine reaction about how all those pieces just crumbled for him, how his house of cards fell on that moment.
Claire, what do you think?
I mean, Mike, you hit it on the head. I think that he doesn't even have to proclaim that he was inspired by North Korea's display. You can look at side-by-sides of North Korea's very regular displays of gross power.
And force, yeah.
And compare it to what he was trying to do, something that no U.S. president has ever done on that kind of a scale, and especially in their name, on their birthday, associating themselves with it. It's just gross. To me, I'm going to get a little vulgar with it. It's just a dick measuring competition.
It really is.
It's this is a big leader. Trump obviously worships the Putins, and what worships he looks up to.
Yeah.
He pulls plays from their playbooks. And so then no shit, once he gets his second chance in office and he's been sitting around waiting to get back in, some of the first things he does are about building idolatry, because he wants to be the revered Kim Jong-un of his country, but he doesn't realize we're not North Korea. You can't run these things and expect all of us to just sit by and say, hail the leader. We have too many freedoms here for you to get away with that. And so I think it was a beautiful display of, we are not North Korea. We still have these privileges, and before you fucking take them away from us, we are going to protest. And we are going to fight tooth and nail before we become that. And it does make me feel for the countries that don't have the liberties that we currently still have, and that he's trying to take away, like peaceful protest. Because what would happen if North Koreans protested the way we did this past weekend?
Oh, yeah, mass murder right there.
We'd just be sent to concentration camps and bye-bye. So all that to say, I'm grateful that we still have those systems in place, but we need to work really freaking hard to make sure that he doesn't get to carry out the image he's trying to, and create a nation that bows to him above all else, because no kings. That was how this country started, and we're not straying from that. So 100%.
Big facts, my sister, big facts. And ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think. If you want to leave us a voicemail, please do. bit.ly/talk to us, capital T and capital T. And if you want to find out more about our interviewee, Mike, all you got to do is go to the video description. I've got links for him. I got his link tree. I've got his TikTok. I've got all kinds of social media. So if you want to donate to this young man's campaign, please do